Awesome. Lauren, so thank you so much for being here today and for talking to me a little bit about what you guys do over at Steady Strides.
So I'm Lauren Schroeder. I'm the executive director and one of the trainers and instructors at Steady Strides Riding Center. Founder of it with my partner, Melanie Rader, who's also the co-founder, and she's the program director and head trainer and instructor. Melanie and I, when we founded Steady Strides, we wanted to create a riding center that was for everyone. In many ways, riding can be an exclusive sport financially. It's very expensive. You need space for it, so you need to live in an area that allows space for horses and arenas, and that's out of reach for so many people, especially in urban areas. And it can often be a sport just for the able-bodied. Our discipline is hunter jumpers primarily, and so that can be a very, on the surface, it's a very white-looking sport. Our vision and desire is for horses to be accessible to everyone. Horses have an amazing ability to be therapeutic, and not, whether you're with them on the ground or whether you are on their backs, they can be therapeutic to everyone. It's also just a wonderful sport. It challenges you physically, it challenges you emotionally. It's also recreational. People just have enjoyment. It's outside, it's beautiful. During COVID, it was a safe activity for people to do. Horses are naturally socially distanced animals. It's outdoors.
Stay 6 feet away.
Right. We were a refuge, I think, for a lot of people who are homebound to be able to come out and be safely socially interact with horses and with us. We wanted Steady Strides to be a place that was inclusive and welcoming to everyone. We have a herd of phenomenal lesson horses where people can learn to ride. Riding schools are closing rapidly because it's hard to make a living and an income off of horses. If people want to get into riding now, it's hard to find a place where you can just go and take riding lessons. You need to have your own horse, and that's crazy to think about. To ride, but you got to go all in right away.
You got to pay $5,000 to do it.
Yeah. Right, and so we have a great herd of horses where people can learn to ride and advance on and compete on and show. We have a scholarship fund for riders who are low income. And then we have the ability to serve riders with disabilities. And so that's physical disabilities, mental disabilities, people are struggling emotionally.
Which is a lot of people right now.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people.
Having everyone together is just a nice way, because at the barn, we're all learning to ride, and everyone is, hitting milestones in their riding and challenges in their riding, and we're all doing it together. And what's great too is because we have such a diverse herd of horses, anyone can learn and excel and advance at their own pace. And so that's riders with disabilities and without disabilities. Yeah, we just want to continue to grow these programs such that everyone can, if they want, to have the opportunity to interact with horses. We have volunteer programs as well. We can't do what we do without volunteers. And a lot of people like that who want to be around horses but don't necessarily want to be riding them, or they just kind of want the ability to help horses and help our riders. So the volunteer program is a great one as well.
Are you from Tucson, or how did you pick Tucson to start your organization?
We're both transplants to Tucson. We've both been here over a decade. So we had both I came to Tucson for graduate school at the U of A, and Melanie had come for another job. We both just fell in love with the Tucson community. As soon as I came here for graduate school, I knew I wanted to stay. I fell in love with the people, the desert landscape, the access to the outdoors. Tucson is a uniquely accessible place for people to experience horses as well. It's 20 to 30 minutes in any direction. You can hit, some sort of more rural, accessible land that either allows people to have horses. I think Tucson could be such a thriving equestrian mecca, because people can either live in town and drive a short distance and be with their horse, or they can have their horse on their own property or live near an equestrian center or something. And so I think there's so much potential for Tucson to be this thriving equestrian center if we keep it alive, which means we have to have horses be accessible to people. If people can't access horses, there'll be no interest in horses. And so,
completely, and I completely agree with that. That Tucson is it's this special little hub, and that's kind of how we even got pulled into working with you. Is that my clients moved from out of state to Tucson in order to live that equestrian lifestyle, Take Verde area. So it really is something, it's something special about this area.
And what is unfortunate, though, what we see is happening is because horses and land and everything's getting more expensive with horses and the equestrian lifestyle, it is becoming more inaccessible, and a lot of these properties are being sold and demolished. So there's a lot of centers that have closed and have been sold for the land, and so developers are moving in. And so it's challenging and sad to see. I understand that development has to happen, but there's a little bit that's being lost, a lot that's being lost with some of the equestrian centers closing and having to sell.
Yes, that's the biggest, I'd say one of the biggest downfalls of real estate and how the transfer of property works, is that you do have to lose these these sacred things about the land that have been established there for years and years and years. It's something that I'm working hard to find a way to combat. So
Right.
I'll get back to you with
right.
the solution once I find it. I understand you guys were out in the Tanque Verde area originally.
Yep.
And recently you were displaced, correct? And had to move to another facility.
We were in the Tanque Verde area, which was a great home for us as we were beginning and growing. While the timing for the move was faster than we wanted, we had actually hit a point where we were outgrowing the space, and so if we want to continue to grow programs, we were needing to move to a space that allowed us multiple arenas, larger barns, and things like that. So the timeline was a bit faster than we wanted, but ultimately I think we'll end in what we needed. And so we are now in a Tucson, like unincorporated area right near Vail. So we're at Houghton and I-10 are the major cross streets, and we're at an equestrian center that has ample space, which has been fantastic. And the horses are happy. Moves are logistically challenging and exhausting, but it actually went very smoothly. And we had a lot of help. The horses settled in really quickly and nicely. They've settled in faster than I think we were all expecting. And so that's really nice to see. We have huge arenas, so the horses are going well in them. They like the space. They're eating well, and it's been an adjustment for everyone because it is new, but actually we're really liking the space, and our riders are settling in. And for some of our riders, it's now much closer to them. So we have people commuting to us no matter what. For most, it adds maybe a 10-minute longer drive to us, which isn't bad. Also, it's nice to be in the Vail area. There isn't any services like ours being offered in that area. And so that provides opportunities as well for the Vail area.
We've kind of touched on it a bit, is the aspect of community and how important community is. What does community mean to you?
I think it's what holds us together. I think especially with the pandemic, it's been such a huge challenge for everyone, and the barn as a community in and of itself, it was, I think, healing for those of us that worked there, those of us that volunteered there, and our riders that continued to show up and were able to continue riding. It's the foundation of who we are, and like how we, the importance of the social interactions, and there's small community and big community. I think both are essential. The small community of our barn is we've been very purposeful in creating a community where people feel welcome and supported. And then there's the greater community of Tucson that is actually, I think, quite similar. I think that is a very welcoming place and supportive and diverse. I think that's what makes Tucson special. And so we want to support the Tucson community as much as we hope that they support us. So,
is there anything today that you are especially grateful for?
I was incredibly grateful for Steady Strides. Going into the pandemic and being very fearful. When the virus was new and we didn't know if we were gonna have to shut down, if we were gonna be able to continue operating through it, what was that gonna mean to some of our students? We had one student who, they swear that it's what keeps him out of the hospital from getting bowel obstructions, and they were terrified that what would happen if he can't ride, gets a bowel obstruction, ends up in the hospital during the pandemic. Being able to go into the pandemic and continue operating was such a relief. And then we had a flood of support to help us through the pandemic, because we had to switch the way we operated to keep everyone safe. And so we lost quite a bit of revenue, and people came and supported us to make sure we could stay open and operate the way we needed to operate to keep everyone safely. And then coming out of the pandemic, then we find out we have to move, which was just, it just felt a little bit like a gut punch. And again, our community rallied around us to help us with the financial constraints of the move and setting up a new facility. I'm grateful that we have people who have supported us so that we can continue to support them and continue to do what we do. A lot of things to be grateful for. I'm grateful.
Go, girl.
I'm grateful for Melanie Rader, my partner in this, because we can't we're a great team together, and we got through all of this together with each other's support and her vision and our vision aligning. Really grateful for the barn during a period that was so isolating, and we could continue to build community during rough times. And I think that's also the beauty of horses. The horses are there for people no matter what, and we're there for them.
It's been such an exciting drive. We've already gotten, I'd say, 4 or 5 trunkfuls worth of cleaning supplies.
Awesome.
But other than the donations that the community has already provided and will keep providing until the end of the month, is there any other way that the community could be of service and help steady strides that we should know about?
Yeah. So we have tons of volunteer opportunities if people want to come. So we have volunteer opportunities for horse people and non-horse people. We always need assistance in the barn with barn chores, and you can have horse experience or no horse experience to do that. It'll just kind of depend on what you do. And then we need, with some of our adaptive riders, so our riders with disabilities, sometimes we need help facilitating those lessons. So some require a full team of volunteers to be physical and emotional support to the rider. So those are sidewalkers who walk next to the rider. Sometimes we need horse handlers for those lessons. So that one requires horse experience. It's a multi-acre facility, so there's always just work to be done on the facility. Everything from weeding, and we need some trees planted and things like that. So there's folks who are into gardening, assistance like that. So tons of volunteer opportunities around horses all the time. We always, like all nonprofits, a great way to support nonprofits is just through donations. Monetary donations are always needed. We have this a bigger space allows us opportunities to expand our programming. And so a few programs that we're looking forward to in the future, riding in color programs. So riding for people of color, and having discounted and free riding lessons for people of color. A Ride with Pride program, so for the LGBTQ community. And so there's so much more that we can do. And so all these programs require funding. And so any support to us through monetary donations is really appreciated as well.
Lauren, you've been incredible. You are incredible. What you do for the community is absolutely incredible. We're so grateful to have you here in Tucson, truly. And thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited to have you as one of our locals with gratitude. And I'm so excited to give you the delivery. We'll probably be over there sometime within the next week or two and get everything wrapped up. Well, it's been a pleasure.
For that, thanks to you and all your work and everything, everyone who's donated to the drive.